Hey guys, so for today's video, I am going to teach you on how to set up your first automation in GoHighLevel in just under 15 minutes. So if you don't know me, my name is Lauren and I create automations and workflows with the help of AI. So basically, I just vibe code. So if you're a beginner like me and really like using no-code tools and AI, then stick around. And this is also going to be the first part in my series called GoHighLevel for Beginners in 2025. By the end of this video, you should have a working lead capture system that collects your leads, tracks them, tags them, and notifies you when they are added into your pipeline. So what are we waiting for? Let's go ahead. The first step that we are going to do is we are going to create a form that will collect your lead. So the first step that I want you to do is to log in into your sub account and go to the left side part where you will go into sites, forms, and then go to builder. Once you have that, you are going to click add form to create a new one and then start from scratch. You always have the option to choose from templates, but let's go with the very basic. Okay, once you're here, this is the default form that GoHighLevel will be providing you. I recommend just keeping in the first name, last name, and then the phone or the email maybe, just to keep it very simple, because the less fields that your lead needs to fill, the better, because if you add more, it's gonna add more friction and they will be less inclined to finish it. I do also like to remove the terms and conditions here because it adds unnecessary like visual noise into the form. If you do have a form that collects more personal information, then you will have to keep it just to comply or for compliance purposes. And you can also just delete this privacy policy unless you want to keep it in there, or again, if you are collecting sensitive information. All right, so now that we have your first name, last name, phone, and email, let's go ahead and save this form. There we go. So now for this next step, we already have that form. We are going to go ahead and create the back end for that. What that means is we are going to create the flow on where those collected information will go to. So where do we create those pipelines? Pipelines can be created from the left-hand side part here in opportunity, and I want you to go ahead into pipeline and click on create new pipeline. For the pipeline name, let's name it lead capture pipeline. For the stage names, we can add here new lead, qualified, maybe contacted, and then close. All right, you can add as much stages as you want to track whatever step in your like company processes, whatever your SOP is, and whatever feels natural to you that you need with how your system or your business flows. So let's see, new lead, qualified, contacted, and then close. Okay, let's hit save. Once your pipeline is created, you will be able to see it by going to opportunities and then clicking this drop down here, and you will be seeing lead capture pipeline, which is the pipeline that we have just created. This is going to be empty, and if you want to add a lead manually to it, you can click on add opportunity here. It will give you this pop-up where you can add the contact name, their email, and their phone number, and any other details that you would want to collect. Now that we have the form and then the pipeline ready, so the form is going to collect your leads and then the pipeline is going to store all of the leads collected. We are now going to create the workflow that will connect this two. So you need something to tell all of the information that has been collected by the form on where to go. You need to guide them so that they will be fed into the pipeline. So let's go ahead and create that automation. Go here on the left-hand side again, click on automation, okay, and then create workflow, which again, we are going to start from scratch. So there are three basic parts in creating an automation. First is the trigger. That means what will set off the automation for it to work. So the trigger is going to be the form submission. Whenever a lead submits a form, then your workflow will be triggered. Okay, form submitted. And then very important part, it needs to know what form are you pertaining to. So you need to add a filter. Let's see here. We're going to click form is, and then we're going to select the form, which is just the form one. If you want, you can also change like the title of this trigger. Node is what I call it, like the boxes, so that you will know what the trigger is, because if you can see, it's just form submitted. maybe you want to put in lead capture form submitted just to be more clear. Okay, is that save? Do not forget to hit save, because if you don't, then the node or action that you have just created will not be saved. All right. So after triggering, you always have the option to add a tag to the contact that has been received in your form. So tags are used to track your contacts. Maybe you want to track where they came from, or just add a tag to them that, hey, this contact came from this form and they are interested in whatever services that was in that form. You can add as many tags as you want to a contact. So we are going to add, maybe, let's name it lead. Very basic. And then if that tag is not yet created or doesn't exist yet, you can just click on add new tag. Then it's going to pop up there. Again, you can hit save. So now for the exciting part, we are going to tell the automation to send all of the form submissions to your pipeline so that each lead is captured and you are able to see all of the details that the lead has submitted. Okay, how do we do that? Let's click on the plus icon here and select action. We are going to choose this create or update opportunity action here. What does that mean? So each lead is called an opportunity in GoHighLevel. So we are going to choose what pipeline we're going to send it to. Let's go ahead and select lead capture pipeline. And we are going to choose what stage in the pipeline should we send it to. Remember, we created 4 stages and we are going to send this one to the new lead stage. Okay. And then for the opportunity name, if you leave this blank, the opportunity card will be showing the contacts or the lead's first name and last name. What I want to do always is just the full name in there and maybe add a little detail. Maybe you want to add their email address on the opportunity name so that when you take a look in the pipeline, you already see their email address there. Or maybe you want to add some words, special leads or something. But for the sake of this tutorial, we are just going to add in their contact name and their contact email. Okay. And if you also want to move your opportunities to different stages, they can only move forward. All right. But if you want them to move backwards, what does that mean? So your first stage is new lead, second qualified, third contacted, and fourth closed. All of the leads are by default can just move from new lead toward closed. You cannot move your opportunities or your leads back a stage if you do not toggle this option on. So if you want to freely move all of the cards anywhere on the stage, maybe this lead is very indecisive, you have to check this toggle button here. Okay? Okay, hit save action. All right. And then now that the lead has been captured into your pipeline, we are going to send a notification to your team that a new lead has just submitted a form. So how does that work? You select the send internal notification. And then in here, you are going to choose what type of tool the notification will come in. It can go through email. That means GoHighLevel will email whatever contact is assigned to the pipeline, or maybe just a notification. I don't really encourage using the notification unless you always have GoHighLevel open on your desktop. Maybe you can text your assigned user like, hey, a new lead has just come in for you. Or maybe, hey, somebody just booked an appointment for you. You can send them a text, and even WhatsApp. Let's choose email. Okay. From name. Maybe it's going to be a lead capture or new appointment. It can be whatever name you want it to be. I am just going to put in here like my name, and then from email, you are going to put in whatever email you'd like this email to come from. I'm just going to put in mine. Great. You can ignore the to user type, and then the subject, we can just add here new lead captured, and then you can add in the body of the message here. So for the message, I always like to add here the complete information of the lead that has submitted a form. So with here, full name, like click here, this tag here like signifies like the variable. So we're gonna go ahead and contact first name, add a space in there. Oops, click that tag again, and last name. Oops. All right, and email, and then maybe you want to add a phone number in there. All right, and you can also add any message here like you would in any other email that you would compose. So, hey there, a new lead has just been captured. Okay, and then don't forget to hit save. And if you want to see how this email will look before activating the workflow, you can totally do it. Just put in your email in the test email section here and then send test email, and you should receive a test email on your inbox. Hit save. Okay, I forgot something actually. We do need to fill in the two user type, and we are going to choose custom email. We actually haven't added in who will receive the notification. So this can be any member from your team that needs to be notified, right? So I'm just going to put in my email here. All right, and then hit save. I always like to hit save on the workflow and then toggle publish. What does publish mean? So that means your workflow is live, it's working, and it will start to perform all of the actions that you have added in here. So don't forget to rename your workflow just so you understand here. My personal naming convention is just the trigger for the workflow and then what it does. So we're going to name it lead capture form submitted and then add to pipeline. Easiest. You can totally choose whatever name you'd like to do for your workflow, but this is mine just so if I am looking at the list of workflows, I know exactly what the workflow is for without opening the workflow. Okay, now that we are done with the complete setup of your lead capture system, your pipeline, and then your workflow, we can go ahead and test it out. Go back into forms in your builder and then click on the three button here, three button menu, and click on preview. So that is going to open up your form. I'm going to submit a fake lead, just so we can see or test if the full workflow is working. I'm going to submit Lauren, then my full name, Grabante, my phone number, and then my email address. So I'm going to hit submit and we're going to check out if the pipeline has populated. It's going to show up this message. Let's go back to the pipeline and check it out. Again, let's go into opportunity and make sure we are on the correct pipeline. And there we go. As you can see, my name is there in the new lead state. And then if you click on the card or the opportunity card, this pop-up will show and it will show all of the details that you have collected from your lead. The email and then the phone number, as well as you can see here, it has shown the first name, the last name, and the email, which if you remember is the naming convention that we added for the opportunities name. Okay. If you take a look at the card here, it's also going to appear as it. All right, remember that if you have encountered any errors at all from this workflow, or if after submitting the form, the lead did not show up in your pipeline, then 9 times out of 10, it is going to be the trigger from your workflow. So go ahead if you have added in that filter and if you have selected the correct form to trigger your workflow. Just remember to keep your naming conventions, your tags, as simple and as plain English as you can. Trust me, your future self will thank you, because if for some reason you're just adding in random words as your workflow name, if you have tons of workflows in your account, you are going to have a hard time tracking any workflows that needs to be updated or edited. But if you do a naming convention that is similar to mine, where I add in the trigger and then basically the flow, the output that I want, then it's just going to be easy for you to identify what workflow that is. And as I always say, keep it as simple as you can. Your future self will thank you. Again, my name is Lauren, and if this tutorial is very helpful, please hit subscribe and leave any comments. If you want me to create more videos, just comment it down below, and I will try my best to create those for you. Bye!